The moment we've all been waiting for is finally here. That's right, friends, we've got ourselves a Marvel Snap patch that introduced some major new features to the game, and I could not be more excited to bring you guys this patch analysis where I'm going to break down all the changes in the game. I'm going to bring you up to date with what's happening in Marvel Snap, and I'm also going to give you some analysis based on the changes that were made to balance and how it might impact the meta. If you're new here, I would suggest perhaps subscribing because I'm going to be releasing a ton of content to keep you up to date with the decks, the cards, and the deck lists for this upcoming patch season. Let's get started. Now, the first thing we're all super excited about are obviously the collector's tokens, the brand new feature. Starting at collection level 500, you're gonna be able to use them to buy stuff in the token shop. How amazing is that? It's absolutely incredible, and I know that it's something that you guys have wanted for so long. And also, we got a whole bunch of new cards that have been added to the game. Brand new Series 4 or Pool 4 and Series 5 cards, which is great. A total of 16 brand new cards. Something else is worth noting here, and I'll show you what the actual storefront looks like here. Some live on the scenes kind of editing here. You guys remember when I complained about not having enough to buy in one of my videos? Do you remember how we were saying like, hey, I'd love to support the dev team. I would love for more things to spend my money on. Well, they heard you loud and clear, and we've got ourselves a massive bundle with a Apocalypse variant, an Apocalypse avatar, a ton of Apocalypse boosters, 9,500 credits, which is a lot, and 3,000 collector's token for a smooth 7,500 gold. How much is that, Alex? I don't know, like $120 Canadian? It's a lot. It's a lot of money, and you know what? That's what we get, right? I said there wasn't enough to spend money on, and what do I get? $120 microtransaction that I'm probably going to buy on stream. Not quite yet because I just want to look at it a little more. But anyways, we got ourselves something to purchase. But what we really want to talk about is this token shop here. How amazing is this token shop? Basically, the way it works here, because I was at 3,000 collection level, I got 12,000 tokens to start. And every 8 hours, I'm being given the opportunity to buy a Series 4 or 5 card. And I have a Tumi here that I can buy for 3,000 tokens. I can pin it if I want to make sure that, you know, I can save up the tokens. If I want to make sure it doesn't kind of like get cycled out after 8 hours. So if you don't have enough tokens, but you're almost there, you can pin it and make sure that, you know, you don't lose out on it. The other important thing worth noting here is they did add this, that every 8 hours, there's going to be a new token available. The problem is there are no refunds. So if a card gets patched after you buy it, too bad, so sad. That's something that's worth noting here, okay? So the token shop is super exciting. I'm gonna be doing a whole separate video where I'm gonna be discussing who I think you should be targeting with your tokens in Pool 3, 4, and 5. So we'll discuss that later on. In the meantime, let's get back to our patch notes here that is not my patch notes. Live editing, I'm not editing this. We're gonna keep going. Anyways, so what we have here is the general updates here. So guard boosters no longer appear as rewards in collectors' caches and reserves. That's amazing. Everyone was complaining about that. Fantastic. Improved bad luck protection. So of course, what it means is that, you know, as you kind of go through, you have a set amount of collector's caches you can open before like you are guaranteed a card. I've hit that pity timer before and that's been improved. You can favorite a card, which means a card variant by selecting the star button above the card. You've always been able to do that, by the way, and you now can have the option to automatically swap that variant into all decks that contain that card. That's new. So basically in the actual game, let's swap there again. This is gonna be some crazy live editing here. Basically you have the list here. Let's say I have this Electra variant that I really, really like. And I wanna make sure that anytime I make a list, that is the variant that's automatically selected. That's how that works. See that? Look at this, see? You can change and pick it, and at the bottom here, it'll even say, do you want to swap this in your favorite decks? Hell yeah, I do. So basically you make it every time you add Electra, it's that variant that gets added. Absolutely perfect. Let's cut back to the other screen here momentarily. Then you have, during the game, players can now tap their opponent's avatar to view the other player's titles in the pop-up menu. Nice, okay. The end turn button is disabled for a few seconds when your opponent snaps. Okay, very good. That was actually an accidental thing that was really annoying. Improvements to performance and a sign-in with Apple on PC. Pretty cool. Let's talk about the art and visual changes here. Infinity border visuals have been improved. Cards upgraded to Infinity to look way cooler. Well, we have to obviously take a look at that. Let's take a look at who do I have that's at Infinity here. I have lots of people at Infinity. There's the Agent 13. Oh yeah, that actually is a really cool border. Nice. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting them to change the actual border around, but they did. That looks way better. It does look way better. And I'm glad they're paying attention to the border, because I think it's a really important thing for us to like maybe one day, do we get to pick borders or what? Do we get to customize our borders? For a game that's so focused on collection, I think it would be a great idea. Who else has a really nice border here? Okay, we got the, again, the border with the effects. Looks pretty good. I like it. I like the change. It's great. I really do like the change here. Angela, that's not the new border. Angela, now a 2-0, by the way. I just noticed. And that's fantastic. But look, we got some new border effects. Oh, it's actually, the comments are changing color as it kind of goes around her. Do you guys see that? The comments are adjusting in color. That's a new effect. So that's pretty cool. So we have some updates here, which are a lot of fun. Let's get back to the list. Where was I? Flare modifiers earned from the Infinity Split now have a chance to roll one of 7 different colors. Red, blue, green, purple. Flare modifiers unlocked. This update will now rotate multiple colors. Oh. That's exactly, so the flare, which is exactly what I was talking about right there, that's why I'm seeing multiple colors. That's fantastic. I love that effect. It's one of my favorite. Card emojis have received a bit of polish. Nice. Logos have been added to cards and power location modifiers in game. Tap on a card to see what's modifying it. That's actually a good idea. That's in game. New sound effects, blah, blah, blah. Let's talk about the actual balance updates here. These are absolutely huge. Oh, man. Okay, so we've got Angela going from a 2-1 to a 2-0. It had to happen. Let's see the developer comment. Angela is a card that sees a lot of prevalence across many decks, so we're nerfing her a bit to make other options more appealing. This is very similar to what happened to Bishop. Basically, what happened is that Bishop was being used in too many decks. So when they brought Bishop down from a 3-2 to a 3-1, what it effectively did is it made more, like 2-3 cost cards more valuable. So basically what they're doing here, let's actually switch back to the game for a second. So with Angela, you have a situation where like she's so good, it kind of confined the design space for deck building around the 2 cost cards. So like someone like Dagger, Forge was just worse. Cable was worse. But if you think about it, yes, this is a nerf to Angela as a 2-0, but it's a buff to everyone else. Daredevil's better. Everyone else is better because of this, because Angela now isn't completely and utterly shattered. She had to get nerfed, right? I know it sucks to see because I know she's so valuable in so many beginner decks, but it had to happen. Destroyer from a 6-16 to a 6-15. Destroyer's making big waves. Lowering his power by 1 will give opponents more of a chance to win the location he's played into. So again, let's actually take a look at Destroyer here. I'm actually surprised. I mean, a 1, I know this is like, I'm spinning you a bit here. A 1 power change when a card is already a 6-16 doesn't seem that significant, but it's something, I guess. And I'm sure they have enough stats to indicate that maybe Destroyer wasn't completely broken, right? Maybe it just needed a little bit of love. And then what we've got here is we've got the Mysterio. From a 2-5 to a 2-4, Mysterio has more power than other 2 cost cards because how many slots he takes up on other locations. However, in many cases, those extra 2-0 illusions end up being quite beneficial, so we're lowering his base power by 1. That, my friends, makes a whole lot of sense. If we actually take off, over, down, try not to throw up as I spin and spin and spin. We got the Mysterio. Yes, Mysterio is one of those cards that, as a 2-5, was really valuable because the 2 zeros could get eaten by Carnage. It could be, you know, kicked over by Viper. There was too much value on these illusions, not to mention the illusions being able to run up cards like Bishop. So I do agree that maybe 2-5 was a little powerful for the Mysterio. 2-4, does it ruin the card? I feel like Mysterio's done now. That's kind of the problem. I feel like this was a pretty heavy hit to the card, and I don't know. We'll have to test it, but that's a pretty heavy hit here. Sarah goes from a 5-5 to a 5-4. I think I expected Sarah to get changed, but that actually kind of surprises me because Sarah is slightly too good right now. Let's see what they say here. Sarah's slightly too good right now, so we're shaving a little bit of power off. Onslaught's ability now stacks additively with the effects like Mystique and Onslaught Citadel rather than exponentially. Okay, so that's just a straight up update. That's a different update altogether. Sorry, my apologies. I thought that was an update that was part of the developer comment. That's a whole different update. My bad. So Sarah goes from 5-5 to 5-4. Let's take a look at her in the game here. That actually makes a whole lot of sense. I gotta tell you, because if you think about it, Sarah was an absolutely phenomenal card. But the main power in Sarah wasn't necessarily that she was the 5-5, but it's her effect. But bringing her down ever so slightly to a 5-4, I think is kind of prudent, because a 5-5 is still a pretty good tempo play, while also setting up the next turn to be extremely impactful. I think this is a necessary nerf, and by no means do I think this card is irrelevant now. I was scared they were gonna like nerf Sarah too much to ruin the card completely. I don't think that's the case. I think the card is still good. So that is good news for Sarah fans, especially those who are Sarah Miracle fans. Onslaught's ability now, I already read it, now stacks additively with effects like Mystique and Onslaught Citadel rather than exponentially. This basically, oh man, this is gonna ruin like the crazy combos where like you basically do like these exponential like bursts of like Ironheart and what Hazmat and whatever, and it just, the animation lasts for like 45 minutes and both players hate their lives through the entire process. This basically makes it so that like the math is a little more predictable, which is good for people like me because I like to be able to have like a very predictable play, but it does somewhat reduce the chances of having like the wild, you know, YouTube short highlight reel type play. So that's worth noting. Let's read their comment here. Basically, when you start stacking Onslaught's abilities and doubling effect, things get out of hand very quickly. Want to avoid situations where players waiting like Ironheart to play their animations for long stretches of time, which is exactly what was happening. So that is an absolutely good change. So we got a bunch of bug fixes, known issues list. Those are irrelevant, not irrelevant. I'm glad they're fixing stuff, but the major changes, of course, are going to be these card updates. And I really do think that these are they're not minor, they're significant. I think the Angela one is by far the most significant, but realistically, I don't think it was heavy-handed at all. I think these changes had to be made, and I'm actually really excited to experiment. I'm going to be experimenting live on Twitch right after I'm done recording this, where I'm going to be figuring out new decks with the cards and the new meta, and we're going to be experimenting with some cool Series 4 cards, I should say. So guys, I really do invite you to join us. Thanks for watching this video. Got another one linked down below, and I'll see you in the next Marvel Snap video.